Okay. What happened to Musa? I don't know. Okay. The whole day today is big Musa. Okay, Amar Rab.
By the way,
One
it's
more
taka,
thing.
taka, that's taka true.
Omar,
Where is
actually,
it? Where's Amarav? Where's Amarav?
Omar. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. The first one we did a half of Omar
We're not at the two
yesterday.
dot.
We got to the two dots. Yeah. Omar Rav. Mem Zayin Amar Aleph, first wide line. So basically, this next daf and a half, if not two daf, is all about being Makadish b'milva, right? You be Makadish with a loan, right? So like we said, there's a few different variations which the Gemara is going to go through. But basically, a woman owes a man money, and the guy says, you know what? Instead of giving you money, instead of me giving you money, I'll just be Michael. I'll be Michael the loan, and that's it. So the question is that a nesina of money or not? Is that did he give or did he not give? Right? He's not giving her anything. He already gave it to her in a loan a month ago, or whatever it was. So Makas Milva Aina Mikadeshes. It's she's not Mikadeshes. Why? Because Milva lights on it. No. The loan is meant to be spent. Right? It's meant to be spent. Let's say it's a machlokes tanaim. Makadosh from Milva Aina Mikadeshes. It says if you Makadish with a loan, she's not Makadesh. If Yesha Makadesh, and those that say she's Makadesh, my love. Welcome if you the Marsa or Malva lights on it. No. Why does one say that you can get married by being Michael alone? You can't get married, I'm sorry, is because the malva, the loan is meant to be spent. Umar so malva lavlets on it, and the other one says the halva is not for itself. So the tizbara, if that's true, ema seifa, let's say the seifa v'shavim b'mecher shezeh kana, they let's say the seifa that they both agree that by a sale, that meaning till now we're talking about marriage. Now we're talking about the Gemara is saying by a sale, meaning a guy had a loan. I borrowed a guy $1,000 from a guy. The guy says to me, you know what? Instead of the $1,000, let me buy your house. Right? Yeah, so mute it, please. For my connie. So if you say that a malva is lohitzah, so what is he kind of with? Right? How you kind of the karka? You got to give kesef, right? He didn't give anything. It was a loan. So Rav Nachman, Huna Chavren Mukila B'Milia Oikre, Huna, our friend, said that this whole pshat is going on something else. But meaning this whole price is saying something else. Iskachili b'mana, said to be mekadosh me with a mana, v'nimtza mana chasar dinar, and then he said 100, and then what happened was he only had 99. So Marsa ksifa la milsa la misve, she's embarrassed to ask it for him, right? Meaning she would not take married. The guy said, I'm marrying you with 100. He only gives her 99. Is she willing to be married or not? So, she didn't say anything, right? She didn't say anything. So why is she married, right? So the answer is because she's embarrassed, but really she doesn't have the da. So Marsa, it's not embarrassing. She's not embarrassed, and therefore, since she's not embarrassed, she didn't say anything. So she's getting married. So that was the case. Let's say a guy is Makadisher with 100. He says he's being Makadisher with 100, and he gives her only a dinar, and she's married. The Yashim, and he has to pay it all back. Right? Lema Katanoi Amr Lishmaitze. Maybe he's going with the Machlaikas Tanoi. Mute it, Naftali. Naftali, mute it, please.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There should be two keys. I don't know where they are. Right? Who's the last one to have the car? I don't know. So I'm sorry, my kid is stuck. He can't find the key to the car. Okay, he's by my brother helping him out with his flood. Okay, I'm sorry. Meaning, this guy said, I'm going to be Mekadosh you with 100. He gave her 1 dinar. And we say, it's a Kiddushin. The Kiddushin is a good Kiddushin, right? But he has to pay it all back. Why? Why don't we say, like, maybe she's not getting it, maybe she's embarrassed? Why don't we say it's a machlokes tonight? So Amri mana chassid b'ina ksifa lamilsa. If the guy gives her 100 and he's missing 1, that she's embarrassed to say for 1 little dinar, she's not going to say anything. Ksifa lamilsa lemisve mana chassid tishim b'teisha, but minus 99, like ksifa lamilsa lemisve, she's not going to be embarrassed. Fine. So Meisvei, a guy says to a woman, be Mekadosh me with the Pekadon that I gave to you. Meaning the woman is watching, let's say, a ring. She's watching, she's a secretary in the business, and she's watching the ring for him. Then he says, you know what? Keep the ring, and I want to marry you. And then she goes to look for the ring, and she finds that it was stolen or lost. If there's a Shava Pruta left, so then Mekudesha, she's Mekudesha. And if not, ain't a Mekudesha, she's not Mekudesha. Milva, I'll be Shalom Steiner Metal Shava Pruta Mekudesha. And by alone, even if she doesn't leave over to Shava Pruta, she's Mekudesha. Shimon Elazar, Shim Rebbe Meir, Malva on Doma Beis now. Malva Harehi Kepekadon. A Malva is like a Pekadon, right? Meaning it has no diff. There's no difference between a halva, a loan, and a Pekadon. Pekadon is when you need to, you just give it to them to watch, right? So Adkan like the Gemara asks, Adkan like Poli Ella de Marsa Malva Alphagav the Loin Stein and a Shava Pruta. One Shita says that it's a loan, even though there's only one Pruta left to the loan. I mean, that's enough, right? Meaning he made her a loan. Yeah, and the loan was paid back. Mostly, except for one Pruta. Okay, so she could be married. Why not? Umarsam and the Steierman of Shava Pruta and in Loy the Steierman of Shava Pruta Loy. If there's a Shava Pruta left, good. If there isn't, then not. But according to everybody, the whole Shaila, meaning the whole Machlaik in this Brisa, is whether there's a Shava Pruta left or not. Right? That whether you need a Shava Pruta left in the loan in order to marry her. But everybody would agree that if there's a Shava Pruta left, then he can marry with a loan. So it's a kasha.
Set up inside.
So Amarle Rava. So Rava said, but Tizbara, Hamastratza, you think that this brisa is maturitz, meaning you think this brisa is accurate? Hamashavashtahi, it's messed up. Right? It's a messed up brisa. I Pikadin Hechidamik. What's the case of Pikadin? Either Kabbalah Achrayas. If she was Makabal Achrayas, again, we're talking about where a guy wants to be Makadash a woman with something that she's watching for him. And then it got lost. So either Kabbalah Achrayas, if she was Makabal Achrayas, Hainu Mil, it's the same thing as a loan. Right? Because she has to pay it back. Just like she has to pay back a loan, she has to pay back this thing that she was watching. Either like Kabbalah Achrayas, and if somehow she was Makabal Achrayas, Yochi Adatani Seifa, over Malva, Bishalena Steyer Mena, Shava Pruta Mikudeshes, with a loan, even though it was not, there wasn't a Shava Pruta left. Mikudeshes. Why don't we separate and say, where she wasn't Makabal Achrayas. But if she was Makabal Achrayas, even though she didn't leave over Shava Pruta, she's Mekudeshes, right? Why don't you just split it in that case? So it must be that this is what the Brisa means to say. But Malva, Shava Pruta by a loan, even though there's a Shava Pruta left, ain't a Mekudeshes, she's not Mekudeshes. Shimon Malva Harei Kipikadon. Shimon Elazar says, no, a Malva is like a Pikadon. The Micah Mifli, what's the Machlaikis? So Amarava, Ashkechtinu, L'Rabbanan, B'Bei Rav, the Yasui Kamra, I found the Rabbanan sitting around and saying, we're talking about when there's a malva in the reshus of the owners, whether it can go back. And the same thing with Einstein. We'll get back to this in a second. The Marstovar malva b'reshus loiva kaima. One holds that the loan is in the reshus of the borrower. Same thing if something happens to that loan. Umar so Mal Brishus Bailam Kaimer, the halva is in the reshus of the owners who are in Leinson, and the same thing Leinson. Now, what is this talking about? This is basically talking about when you lend somebody money, it's a little bit difficult to understand this. Not difficult to understand in that sense. It's difficult to understand conceptually what's going on over here. I lend the guy money, right? I lend the guy money. The guy doesn't spend it. Well, let's take money. I lend the guy a car. Right? The guy takes the keys from me. Well, that maybe is a kin. I don't know. Takes the keys from me, doesn't drive the car. Then the car gets flooded. Let's call it today in Yonah Diyom. The car gets flooded. Who's responsible? Right? So that's the shaila here. Or the Gemara seems to be talking about money. I lend the guy $1,000. He doesn't do anything with the $1,000. He puts the cash in his desk. He doesn't use it. A fire comes and burns down his house. Who's responsible? So that's a machlokes.
Take a chrais?
What?
Didn't you take a chrais?
Even so.
So what's the shaila? He took a chrais. He took a chrais. Who cares if it's
doesn't make a difference if he took the achrayas or not.
Why not?
Right? Because the question is, does the halva not become his until he spends it? Right?
Let's say you lent money and he threw it into the fire. He owes the money. He borrowed the money. Let's say I borrowed from you money and I decided I'm throwing it into a fire.
That wouldn't help. That wouldn't help.
Spend it?
Even if it's still the Malvas. If it's still the Malvas, then I threw his money into the fire. And if it's mine, then I'm responsible for it.
The question is when does it given over?
When I'm a Kabbalah Christ, that I'm taking it. When I make the king,
not if it's not a loan yet. If it's not a loan yet until I start spending it, then the achrayas is nothing. I take achrayas on a loan.
Why is spending it qualify that it's a loan? Why is the spending?
Because that's why it's there. That's what it's there for.
Oh, really? Maybe if you wire
You start
$1 million,
counting interest. You start counting interest from the money the minute you get the money from the guy.
if you wire in $1 million, right?
You start paying interest from the first
If
second
you
you took the money. Not when you use it.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's a new din that's difficult to understand, which is that it doesn't become the loives until he actually spends the money, according to one shita.
Why spending it is why does that make a difference? Why spending it? With
that is the question.
What?
What?
Charlotte?
Is that it's called, what's the lashon? What's the lashon? Meaning, the guy can, let's say I lend you the money, you don't actually spend the money. Can I say, hey, buddy, I need the money back?
No, you can't.
Yes, you can, according to that.
Yeah, if I made up to pay you back right away, so whenever you ask for the money, then I have to give it to you back. I don't understand why spending it.
I understand you're tzaddik. If you lend someone $3,000, right, because he doesn't have a penny to his name, and instead of spending it on everything he needs, he goes on a vacation with his family to Florida. You wouldn't have tainas on him because it's his money.
He took a chrayas. He has to pay back.
One second. It's the same idea. You would have tainas on him or not? No, it's his money. It's his money. I don't have any tainas. He can do what he wants with it.
Back. I don't care what you do with the money.
So you're a tzaddik. Most people would have tainas on the guy. Same idea. I gave it to you for a reason.
Who cares what the reason is? The minute he takes a chrayas, he owes you the money.
You think from the other side, from the bailam, the guy who lent it to him. The guy who lent it to him for a reason. That's it. I don't want you to have it for any other reason. Until you use it for that, it's my money.
Who said it's your money? The minute it's your
I said it's my money. I lent it to you for a reason.
Listen, guys. There's a reason why we went ahead so that we don't fall behind. You guys could take this. You could take this afterwards.
From a gemach, and he goes to Las Vegas. He doesn't have to pay the gemach back. If he pays it for schar limit, he has to pay them back. But if he pays it for Vegas, he doesn't have to pay him back.
No.
Scam. Aaron, send this out to everybody.
No,
you could do
Aaron. You didn't listen to what I said before. If he takes his money and throws it in the fire, well, so he doesn't have to pay it back. Of course he does. Whoever's money it is, whether it's the malvas or the loivas, if the loiva decides to go throw it in a fire, Either I took the loan and did whatever with it because it's my money, or it's his money and I threw his money in the fire. Either way, I have to pay him back.
Okay, but okay, I don't even know if that either side has anything to do with this. Bottom line,
you're not comparing the same apples and oranges and apples and apples. You're comparing apples and oranges.
All right.
Okay. All right, let's see about it. We got to see about it. So, anyways,
or Hadashim and Aravas, you comparing.
Anyway, the point is that one sheet holds. I hope, I hope your Hadassah look different enough than your Aravas. That's right. You hope so. Anyways, so the question is that when do we say the loan actually transferred to the life? Okay, everybody holds va'insim. It's as if the life, that's like you're saying, Zeb. That everything va'insim, the life took the money, so that's it. My time, like Gara Mishel, it's no different than if you borrowed Mashela to Hadra, right? You borrow a hammer from a guy. Oh, a wet vac. Let's talk in Yonah Dion. You borrow a wet vac from a guy, right? And you got to bring back the same wet vac, right? And you're responsible for it. So same to right? So Mashel the Hadra Chayabain and Malva like Koshikin. The difference is when the guy could backtrack on the loan. Can the guy backtrack on the loan? If the lender never spent the money's sitting in his drawer. You say, hey, you borrowed money, you never took it back, like a home equity, right? A home equity, you can write the checks whenever you want, right? In a home equity loan, could the lender come and say, hey, you haven't taken the money, I want the loan back? So now the Gemara asks, right? Somebody borrows an axe from his friend, if he uses the axe to break something, he's kind of like bikabai, like kanu. If he didn't break it, he's not kind of lemakatanoy. Let's say it's a machlekes tanoim. Let's say his what he said is a machlekes tanoim, whether that's considered his or not. Right? Loy. So what says loy? Adkan loy pligi ela b'mal v'deloy hadrabeina. Till no, the whole machlekes is by a loan. Because that doesn't go back to N. A money loan doesn't go back. You get new cash. Right? But by borrowing, that goes back. Meaning, why by a loan is a shayla. But by borrowing, that's everybody holds that it's that if he uses it good, if he doesn't use it, no. Okay, so now. Fine, so that's the end of that story. Now we go back to, again, we said that whether you can be mekadesh a woman with a loan that she owes, right? Can it work? It cannot work. So now we say, let's say it's different. If a guy says to a woman, "Be mekadesh me with a shtar chayv," which we'll see in a minute what it means exactly by that by shtar chayv. Or if he had a halva in somebody else's hands, meaning a third party owed him money, and he wants to be mekadesh his isha, this woman, with money that a third party owed him. V'hirsha aleim, right? And he gave her harsha, from the word harsha, meaning he gave her authority, right, on these loans. Remeir, I'm mekudeshes. Remeir holds she's mekudeshes. Chum says she's not mekudeshes. Hi shtar chayv echidami. So what exactly is this shtar chayv? Ilam shtar chayv da'cherim. If it's a shtar chayv, that was meaning other people owe this man money, and now he's giving the power of the whatever power he has on the loan to his wife. That's like a standard case of a loan that he has from somebody else. It's talking about her shtar chayv, and we're talking about whether you can be mekadesh with a halva or not. As you see, it's a machlekes tanoim. So when it says "Lailam shtar chayv dacher," no, we're talking about where he's being mekadesh or what a shtar chayv he has from others. We're talking about a loan from a shtar and a loan balpeh. What's the machlekes? The Rebbe Rabbi Yochanan come here forget. The Rebbe Rabbanan come here forget. Right? It's a machlekes Rebbe Rabbanan. The Tanya Oisios Niknas Masira. Right? We had this a while ago. Right? Our words kaina with Masira, meaning, can I just give over my loan that I have in a shtar? Can I just give it over to somebody else? or not, and then the male that guy is kainit. That's what Rebbe goes. Whether he writes a star that says that this star that he's giving over is a star, or he doesn't, and he just gives over the star, they're not kaina. So he has to actually write a second star and give it to him. Maris like the Rebbe. One holds like Rebbe. Umar less like the Rebbe, and one does not hold like Rebbe. Meaning, so this whole machlokes is not about whether you can be mekadosh an isha with a loan. The machlokes is whether you can be, whether you can give over a star, a third party star, with writing. Be by saying the kuli al maleslu the Rebbe. No. Or you could say, no, everybody does not hold the Rebbe. But the Rav Papa committed. We're talking about a machlokes. Rav Papa, Damar Rav Papa. If a guy sold a loan to his friend, that you're going to be kind, you and anybody who is meshubah to you. Mar is like the Rav Papa, Mar less like the Rav Papa. One holds that you could do something like that, right? And one holds you can't. So that's another way of learning the machlokes. The kuliyama is the Rav Papa. Everybody holds the Rav Papa. Right, and you have to, and he used the lashon that Rav Papa said you have to write. If a guy sells a star chayv to his friend, and he goes back and he's meichel. This is also where do we have this? Subas, right? This is one of these real scams. A guy sells a star chayv to his friend. If it was a regular day, we could fight about this for who knows how long. A guy sells a star chayv to his friend, and then he's meichel the chayv. I mean, talk about a friend. It's interesting they use the word friend. Meaning, I have a loan. A guy owes me $1,000. I go to Gershon Russell and I say, Gershon, want to buy this loan off me for $500? Gesundheit. He buys it off for $500. I go back to the lender. I say, I was just meichel the loan. Don't pay it back. I just ripped off Gershon Russell by $500, right? So machel, it's considered machel, right? And I'm in the right.
The question is, can you pay it off with 1 week old dips?
Correct, but maybe that's what I was afraid of. So that's so anyway. So
Yashikayach for using friend that way. I'm glad to be not a friend, but a Talmud.
Oh, there you go. Oh. Yeah. Anyways, but filu yirish Michael. Even if it's a Yerusha, meaning the guy who had the debt, the owner of the debt, died, gave over the debt to his son, and that son could be Michael. The Mar Islay the Shmuel, one holds the Shmuel, Mar less the Shmuel, one does not hold the Shmuel. Levi saying the Kuli Am Isu the Shmuel. Everybody else like Shmuel. We're having a machlokes by a wife. Mar Sava, Isha Sam Chadaita. A woman is going to be Simon Herdas. Right? Meimer Amra. She's going to say, I'm not, this guy is not going to give up on me in order to be Michael somebody else. The woman's not going to be somebody either. Meaning, what's this guy going to do? The question is would a guy, good, I might do this to Gershon Russell. Question is, would I do this to my wife? No comments. Right? I'm saying, a girl that I want to marry, would I do this to her? Say, hey, listen, here's a loan. Will you marry me with this loan? Marries her, and then he's Michael the loan. Right? Is a woman concerned for this or not? So, okay, so that's it. So that's what we're saying is the.
Can you say what he does? Can you say that again?
Naftali, it's too late. You're married already.
I know.
Okay, I'm saying you're gonna go to a girl. You go to a girl and say, listen, I got this loan from Gershon Russell. He owes me $1,000. Right? You say, I'm going to give you this paper in lieu of a ring, and you can go collect with this thing, right?
So you lend Gershon money. You give him that star that he owes you.
I give that star to a woman and say, be Makadish. I want to be Makadish you with this star. It's worth money. You go get the money back from Gershon Russell or dips or whatever you're going to get, right?
Okay.
Right? Now I marry this woman. She said, oh, great. That's great. I like dips. I want to marry you. Now I go and I'm Michael the loan to Gershon Russell. So my wife.
How could you be Michael the loan? It's not yours anymore.
It is. What do you mean?
You gave it to your wife.
So what? My wife's taking a risk. When she buys the loan, she's taking a risk.
Didn't we say yesterday that even straight to your wife. We said yesterday to the girl, if you lent her money and then you meichel the money, that's not, you can't do that.
No,
we
that's
said
what
yesterday
we're saying. You do it.
We said yesterday that if
this
you
is not
lend
Mekadosh
money,
B'milvah, Naftali. It's not Mekadosh B'milvah. It's someone else's
worse.
loan.
Right, it's worse.
Yeah, but there's
She got nothing at the end.
Will holds you allowed to do that.
We said yesterday that it's a machlokes Kaddish Milva. This is even worse than that. So if that's a machlokes, this should sure be even the one that holds.
So that's what we're saying. It is a machlokes.
I'm saying even that's even worse than the other than we said yesterday. Yesterday she got something.
It's Hadassim and Aravas.
Yesterday we said if you lent Leah money and then you turned to her and said, "I'll be meichel the money," it's a machlokes. If that could be a Kiddushin. Correct or incorrect? Let's start one, okay?
Correct.
So she for sure got something. She for sure got hana. Here, you're doing it with a step removed.
We got to, okay. Yeah,
someone else's loan. Okay, we'll
talk
about it later. No problem. Got it. I'm muted.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. But that's the machlokes. Are we going to see that a woman thinks that her husband will never do this to her? Right? That's the shad. Fine. So down till now we're talking about halva biksav. What happens if a guy wants to marry a woman with a loan that was never written down, right? Which you're never supposed to do anyways. But let's see that. But Rav Huna Amarav, Damar Rav Huna Amarav, Man pligi bid Rav Huna Amarav, Damar Rav Huna Amarav, Man li biyatcha teneu leplani. Guy says, I owe you 100, right? Give it to Pliny. But my mitshlosh, and they do it in front of 3 people, right? So who's the 3 people? The lender, the borrower, and then the third party. So Kana, the guy's Kana. Mar Savar Kikom Rav Hani with a Bekadin. That will only work with a Bekadin. Aval Milva Loi. It doesn't work with Ava. Or Mar Savar Loishna Belva, Loishna Bekadin doesn't make a difference whether it's Ava or whether it's a Bekadin. What time is it? 6:12. We stop here or should we go back? Let's go. Let's do one more name. Let's go one more name tonight. Again, the Gemara keeps going through. Let's find another machlokes tonight whether you can be mekadosh and isha with a loan. If he's mekadosh a woman with a star, Rameir and a mekadeshes. Rabbi Eliezer, I'm a mekadeshes. Now, what kind of star? And you evaluate the niyah. Rameir says she's not married with a star. Rabbi Eliezer says she is. And the Chacham say figure out how much the paper is worth. High star academic. What kind of star are we talking about? We were talking about a star where somebody else owes the man money, he's going to give it over. Kasha de Rameir. It's a Kasha Rameir because on the previous Amud, Rameir said that she is Mikudeshes. And here Rameir is saying that she's not Mikudeshes. Ella, that can't be. Ella B'shtar Chayv Dida. Must be she owes him the money. And having machlokes about whether you can be Mekadesh a woman with the loan that she owes the husband. Some of them not going to talking about she was Mekadesh with the star that there were no Eidim. This brings back getting memories. Eidei Chasima Kati. The Eidim of the Chasima is what causes the get, right? So therefore, there's no Eidim for Chasima. So therefore, the get is not a good get. Rabbi Eliezer holds. Rabbi Elazar holds, I'm sorry, that it's Eidim Masira Kati. But Rabbanan Masapkalu, Ikaramei Rabbi Elazar. And the Rabbanan are Masupik, whether like Rabbi Elazar. Hilkoch, therefore they sit in the rain in the sukkah without making a relation because they're Masupik, right? I mean, that's just another example, right? That's a Hilkoch, Shamanis and Ayar, so they hold, evaluate how much the paper is worth. Maybe I should show a Pruta Mekadesh because at least she has a piece of paper out of it. Vimlav ain't a Mekadesh. By Samagon Shikasu Shalai Lashma. Talking about where he didn't write it for her name. Remember, Lishma doesn't mean like that tonight when you're sitting in the sukkah, you have to have Lishma, that it's Zeichel Yitzias Mitzrayim. Let's not forget that. We're all concentrating on the rain. You got to remember, Zeichel Yitzias Mitzrayim, Anani Yaakov. Right? That's not the Lishma we mean here. Here we mean in her name. Meaning he just used a generic. Let's say you write a Kiddushin, Star Kiddushin. This is not a ksuba. Star Kiddushin was with a generic, with her name. What's it in? Havai Litzia Makshina. Mayatzia being in Lishma. Just like divorce needs a Shma, Havai now being in Lishma also needs a Shma. Idilma Havai Ladadi Makshina. Or do we compare marriage to each other? Ma Havai the Kesef being in Lishma. Just like being the kaddish with money, you don't mean l'shma. If I had the shtarla being l'shma, you don't lishma. Was it the boy or the pashta? After they asked the shaila, he answered it. V'yotzav ha'isa maka shavai liyitziyah. Mar isay the Rish Lakish, Mar leslie the Rish Lakish. One holds the Rish Lakish, one does not hold the Rish Lakish. Because same with the Kuliyama is the Rish Lakish. Everybody holds the Rish Lakish. V'acha b'mayaskinin with the shekasul l'shma v'shalai midaita. Talking about where they wrote it l'shma and shalai midaita. We looked at the Rav Ravina v'Rav Rav Sharia kamiflagi. And it's in their machlok. Is it markasul the shema v'shalei midaita? Let's see, wrote it the shema, but she doesn't know about it. Rav Ravina Amar Kedeshes, Rav Papa Rav Shavi Amar Enu Kedeshes. So that is what they're arguing. But I know we went a little fast. But okay, we're almost tomorrow. Bez Hashem, Sunday night we'll do a plot and a half, and then we'll catch up Bez Hashem.